everyone, it's Kayla and welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are building a base game only starter home in the world of Oasis Springs. I just built another base game starter home. That one was in Willow Creek. I just feel like it's been a while since I've built in The Sims, that doing these limited pack builds or base game only builds is helping me sort of browse through the catalog again. So we are building in the world of Oasis Springs. I am doing more of that mid-century kind of retro style here, and I used a picture on Pinterest that inspired me for the layout of this build, for the shape of it. So as you can see, we are doing the fancy roofs that you see a lot in this world, and I really like the way that they look layered at the front door like this. I also wanted to use a lot of debug for the landscaping to save money. Now this house is big enough for 3 Sims, 2 adults and 1 infant. You could probably also convert the infant's room into a room for a kid or 2 kids or another multiple of people, and I am using a budget of $22,000 including the lot budget, just because you do get 2,000 simoleons for each sim. I wanted to make sure that in case your sims did not have an infant yet, you can still afford this house, and the infant the nursery, I guess, is just ready for you to use. So I am just making sure that everything can fit well on the inside, and then we'll go back out to the landscaping. For the landscaping, I really focused on using debug objects, which are objects that you can find in the world around. I use the Better Build By mod in order to easily filter through debug, but you can also just turn your cheats on and do show hidden objects, bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects. I'm sorry if that's wrong. It's been a while since I've had to type those in myself. But you can also just go to Twisted Mexie's website and download the mod pretty easily. I personally am a huge fan of it. So now you'll see I'm kind of messing around with the colors here. I was thinking I wanted to do something a little bit more colorful to make it feel more retro, but instead we went the mid-century modern route with these neutral colors. I was also really happy with the way this walkway turned out, because I think that it looks really organic, and I think it can be a little hard to landscape in the desert. Personally, it's just not a style that I find to be super intuitive. It may for you, but if I were to use terrain paint to make a path, I just feel like it wouldn't fit appropriately. So again, I'm just using objects that I see around the world to landscape, like these palm trees. I've got those aloe plants, and I forget what the other ones are called, those spiky plants, and some cacti. I was really trying to find the tree that you can see in the background of the house to the right, but I cannot find it anywhere in debug. So instead, we do another palm tree, and I also added some, right now grass, but I did go in and add flowers that I saw kind of next door to add a little bit of color, a little bit of texture, and these are those flowers right here. I also loved the terrain paint called Scorched Earth. So usually, if this was a suburban build or any other build on grass, I will use the starter soil or the smarter soil terrain paint. But because this is the desert and there is no grass around, I went with the Scorched Earth, and I just think it adds a really nice shadow. I also was extremely happy with it because I finally found a reshade preset that I love, and the shadows look so good in it. So I used the White Willow preset. I will have that linked in the description in case you're interested. If you don't know what reshade is a tool that lets you kind of edit the coloring and other cinematic aspects of the game, and sometimes lighting in The Sims is just not so great. The colors can look really cartoony and pastel, and if that is your style, that is fantastic. I just can't get used to looking at the screen when all I see is really bright grass or really orange desert sand. But anyways, there are tons of presets out there that are made by other simmers that you can download for free. So now we are on the inside. The kitchen was super easy to kind of sneak into the corner over here. I have a little dining room table, and then I also have a living area in the other corner. You'll notice there is no TV. There's also no computer. It's not because I'm against having those electronics. It's because I couldn't quite afford them in this build. So that is something that your Sims can save up for and add later on. I also decided once I chose this stucco wallpaper to do an orange and blue color scheme, and I think it turned out really nice. So we've got the blue cabinets. I never use these base game cabinets because in the styles of builds that I usually do, they just don't make sense. So it was really fun to use them here, and then you'll see I start to decide on adding orange accents with the chairs and the couch, and now I am just decorating. With the Better Build, I think it's the Better Build By mod, or it could be the Tool mod. You can shift click on a light in build mode without having to go to live mode and change the tone. So you'll see I do that to every light I put in this house. I wanted it to have a warm glow, so I did the warmer tint, and I kind of turned down the brightness. I used the dimmer on some of them just to make it feel a little softer. And I also just decided to clutter up with some infants objects. I guess they're more so for like a toddler or child, but just some things to add some personality here. And on the side of the kitchen, you'll see I added a calendar with some pictures. It just gave me like family vibes rather than either a single sim or just one couple. But I did keep the clutter to a minimum. I've said this before, I am just not a clutter person. I do like little details like the salt and pepper shaker and plants and things. But number one, I'm not very, I guess, I don't know the debug catalog well enough to find clutter quick enough. And number two, I just, in my own personal life, am more of a minimalist and like less clutter as in terms of decoration. So in the bathroom here, I decided to carry the tile in from the kitchen, which looks a little much, and it is. I do feel like, though, it has that mid-century modern / retro vibe I was going for. So while it's out of my comfort zone, I do really like the way that it turned out. So I added a tub because with infants, and toddlers, I think, need a tub to be able to bathe them. And I am just cluttering this shelf above the toilet with some baby items. We've got some diapers, some wipes, things like that. And then just a little bit of a soap dispenser over here. We've got towels. I kept it very simple, but I feel like the orange and blue looked really nice. And now on to the nursery. And this is the first nursery that I've built since infants have been added to the game. So I'm not sure if that gives you a clear idea of how long it's been since I've built, but this is the first nursery, and I think it came out so cute. I was really inspired by the blue wallpaper with some yellow accents, and then I found this rug to match that has the moon on it. So I kind of went with the like nighttime sky sort of theme, and I also made sure to add a lounger just for parents to be able to feed baby and put them to sleep. Thought about adding shelves over here, but then I would have had to clutter and I didn't want to waste my budget too much. So I took those down and I put the cloud decals on the wall instead. I do also end up changing the lounger's position to this corner that you see right now just because I couldn't quite get a dresser to fit there as well as I wanted. And I decided to also turn the dresser into a changing station, which is not an idea I've made. I've seen tons of simmers actually come up with this idea. So I just took a standard dresser and I used an ottoman and I put that inside the dresser and raised it up with the 9 key. Using the ottoman kind of makes it look like there's a changing pad on the table, so I thought that turned out really cute. And then we do have some good clutter items for rooms like this. So I've got a diaper station, I've got a baby bottle, a diaper on its own, just some cute little decorations, and most of them are debug, so they're not too expensive. And I also sized Flurpy down a lot because this room is small, but I still wanted him there. Now, moving on to the parents' bedroom, I decided to stick with the orange and blue theme. So I used this blue base game bed, and I kind of shoved everything in the corner because I wanted to have a good amount of space for more windows and curtains as well as a dresser. So you'll see me cluttering up this nightstand just with a lamp and an alarm clock, and then also a glass, a drink that I found in the debug menu. And then over here on the other side, I have the dresser, and I'm going to add a little bit of clutter there too, and a lamp. I'm such a fan of adding lighting in this game. I don't know why, because I really don't have many lamps in my own life, but maybe I wish I did. So yes, I do add a lot of lamps in all of my builds. So now we're on to the backyard, and in the backyard I wanted to keep it simple because one, I was running out of money, and two, I feel like a starter home doesn't always have a nice fenced in backyard that's ready for a family. So it gives it a little bit of realism. You can go in and customize the backyard all you want. So back here we just have a little seating, some planting, and a trash can, but that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more, and I will see you all next time. Bye.